What is up? Good morning. Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, and glad to have you here with us. Um, Pelicans clinch a playoff spot last night. Some injury updates for the LSU baseball team. We'll get to all that here in the next 10 minutes or so. Glad to have you as always. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And if you would encourage others to do so, as always, I'm open to suggestions if you have them. Leave comments. I'll try to reply to every single one of them and take all of your suggestions so that way I can make this better for you. So let's start with the Pels. Big win last night. I actually stayed up and watched it despite the 9:30 Central Time tip. They were on the West Coast playing the Clippers. That was an ESPN broadcast, and I have my 3-year-old Drew. He was going to have me up before dawn. Like that's just the way he rolls. So I even tweeted last night at one point when if you didn't watch the game, it's understandable it was late, but you've probably seen the highlight by now. Anthony Davis had this monster alley-oop dunk. Rajon Rondo put it up off the backboard, and Davis comes in one arm from way back and slams it home. And yes, I am wearing a Ron Burgundy shirt. And Dave Pash, who's calling the game, says, "Turn out the lights. It's over." And I tweeted, "Hey Dave, I got a kid that's gonna have me up before dawn. Don't tempt me." But it was fun to watch. Pels, the Clips went on a run near the end of the first half, took a lead on New Orleans, and then the Pels promptly responded with a 12-0 run before halftime, and then they never looked back. It was great to see. You were an 8.5 point favorite in that game. They wound up winning 113 to 100, so they won by 13 points. With a playoff berth on the line, you needed Anthony Davis to take over. He did. He was awesome. 28 points. Nico Mirotic had a double-double. A couple of things we know. All right, so you know for sure now the Pels are in the playoffs, which is great. They're still the 5 seed, and they can get the 4 seed with a win and a Denver loss. So there's still a lot to play for New Orleans right now, and the possibility of hosting a first-round game, a first-round series, I should say. I don't know that I love the series matchup against Denver, provided that's how it finishes. Excuse me. And now you're all yawning. My apologies for that. But just get in. A couple of things that we know for sure about the Pelicans moving forward is depending on how the season ended, there was some question about what would happen with Dell Demps and Alvin Gentry. Safe to say now that they're not going anywhere. New owner with Gail Benson. I doubt very seriously that she's going to want to upset the structure being so new on the job. And she's even said as much that she expected all the management structure to stay in place, clinching a playoff berth, and have for the first time since 2015, sitting on 47 wins right now with a chance to get to 48. Lots of reasons to believe that there's no reason to believe otherwise that Gentry and Demps are going to be back. So they should be. Let's see if they can win a first-round playoff series, re-sign Boogie, maybe lure a free agent, which everyone's talking about LeBron, but it's a really big free agent year. Add another piece to this class or to this roster, and see if maybe you can make a push to get into the top 3. Challenge Houston and Golden State and Portland to be right there in the top 3 next year. So I mean, to keep in mind, Portland, they're only a game ahead of you. So you're only a game out of the 3 spot. I mean, you can't reach the 3 spot this year, but it's attainable, I guess, is the point. So just a really, I know it's not popular, but man, sometimes you got to tip your cap to Alvin Gentry. And when Boogie went down, there were a lot of people who figured the season was over and they weren't going to go to the playoffs, and you could just flush it. And they kept everything together. So not only did they keep it together, but they obviously overcame some early struggles adjusting the roster. They traded for Nico Mirotic, and Alvin Gentry deserves to be applauded for figuring out rotations and how to use the talent on that roster to get them into the spot they are. So New Orleans will have playoff basketball for the first time since 2015, and that is an awesome thing all around. Let's see if they can get out there and win a series. LSU baseball, they're on the diamond tonight at the box against Louisiana Tech. So Tech's 24-10, having a pretty good year so far. They're quietly having a pretty good year up there in North Louisiana. AJ Labus is going to start for LSU, but that's not even really the big news. The big news is the injury updates and a possible change in the pitching rotation. So Paul Maneri meeting with the media yesterday. Josh Smith took grounders at short and third yesterday, which is awesome, considering they're hoping to get him back for the Tennessee series. If you get Josh Smith back, in my opinion, it just changes the whole dynamic of your lineup because Josh Smith goes to short and bats leadoff, and Hal Hughes most likely goes to the bench unless you want to play him at third or second, and then you could move Bain to first. My point is, I guess Slaughter or Reed could platoon back at third. My point is you have options. And when Josh Smith comes back, it has a domino effect. And if Josh Smith goes into the leadoff spot, then you can put Antoine Duplantis in the 2-hole or keep Bain in the 2-hole, put Duplantis in the 3-hole and Watson in the 4-hole. So that way Watson's batting with with hitters ahead of him to where he's likely to come up with guys on base. So his double becomes a run-scoring double, or his home run becomes a 2 or 3-run homer. It just matters. It matters to replace a guy who's hitting 150 in conference play with a guy that's a 300 hitter and a dominant infielder. So, yes, it matters so much getting Josh Smith back. Nick Storrs, they said they're going to get an update on him today. The great news is that Bryce Jordan's knee is not a season-ending injury. They thought it might have been the ACL. It's just a deep bone bruise. He's most likely going to miss this weekend, but that's so huge because he's a run producer. He's an RBI guy, and his on-base percentage is almost 500. So if you have a guy that gets on base every time you flip a coin, it's just, for an offense that's scuttling, man, you need those guys, and you could ill afford to lose any options, especially veteran options, the guys that consistently get on base. So hard to understate that. And maybe the most significant news is Paul Mainieri admitted that he and Alan Dunn are considering a change to the weekend rotation, and they won't make that announcement until Thursday if they do it. The really interesting thing for me is, like, I don't think you make a change just for the sake of making a change. I think you make a change if you have a better option. So what's the better option? Now, A.J. Labus is going to start tonight against Louisiana Tech. What they do with Labus will be very telling. Because if Labus goes out there and gives you 2 innings and then they turn it over to the bullpen, then they very well could be eyeing Labus to start on Sunday, and you start Mikael Hilliard on Saturday. And Hilliard's on full rest, remember, because they played a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series this past weekend at College Station, so you could pitch him Saturday just on regular rest. And then you could give Labus, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, give him 4 days rest to go pitch on Sunday, which would be normal because it'd be like a bullpen day anyway if he only threw a couple innings. Now, if Labus extends tonight against Louisiana Tech, they let him go throw 80 pitches or 5 innings or whatever it may be, then it's unlikely that you see him on Sunday. But I guess for me, if you feel like you have a better option, then go with it. But don't let Gilbert's implosion this past weekend be the sole reason that you make a switch. It's not been a great year for Gilbert. I mean, your eyes don't lie, and he's allowing opponents to hit .338 against him, which is awful. But they're also 5-3 in games Gilbert's pitched. The only game they won at Vanderbilt was his start. And while the start at Texas A&M did not go well, he's pitched well enough for LSU to win games. So I'll be curious. And maybe Patrick Coogan mentioned this on AFR yesterday. Maybe they keep Hilliard in the Sunday role and they move Labus into the Saturday role. That way you maintain your Sunday advantage because Hilliard's been so brilliant, and you're just not going to run up against many pitchers on Sunday or in Game 3 that are as proficient as Mikael Hilliard has been. So I'll be interested to see what they do. If you just ask me, Matt, what would you do? I would leave it alone. If I was going to make a change, I'd put Gilbert in the bullpen, I'd put Labus on Saturday, and keep Mikael Hilliard on Sunday. That's what I would do if you asked me. But I don't know that it makes you tremendously better because you're switching an experienced pitch-to-contact guy for a freshman pitch-to-contact guy, although I think A.J. Labus could absolutely handle the moment if it came down to it. So LSU and Louisiana Tech at the box tonight, and then the Tennessee series coming up starting on Friday night out at Alex Box Stadium. All right, y'all, just about going to wrap us up here for this Tuesday morning edition of Morning Scone. We appreciate you for being here. I think I've mentioned this before, but if you don't mind, help us out. I know I wear this hat. It's the signed hat. That's my buddy who started that company. It's an app. It's an autograph app. Do us a favor if you wouldn't go download the app. And the long story short is that his co-founder is Brian Moorman, who punted for the Buffalo Bills for 13 years. And a radio station up there, 97 Rock in Buffalo, knew Brian Moorman had this app, and they called him. They want to do something cool for Jim Kelly, who, as you probably know, is battling cancer for a third time, and actually on Friday was released from the ICU. So anyway, they used the platform, the Signed app, to allow people to go send well wishes to Jim Kelly. So if you download the app, it's Signed, S-Y-N-D, Get Signed app, G-E-T-S-Y-N-D. Download the app, log in, swipe, take a photo, and then you can use your finger or a stylus to write your message on the photo, save it, and then it's going to be uploaded to Jim Kelly's wish wall. And their goal is to get 73,079 wishes to Jim. That's one for every seat at New Era Field, which is the stadium there in Buffalo. So it's a really cool thing. I'm trying to help him as much as I can to push it. Doesn't matter where you are in the country or the world, or if you're a Bills fan or not. I think most people know the struggle Jim Kelly's gone through, and everybody in some form has been touched by cancer. So if you could take a minute and do that, we'd really, really appreciate it. Again, download the app. It's Get Signed, G-E-T-S-Y-N-D, and right there on the splash screen, you'll see the Jim Kelly wish wall icon. So, all right, it's going to do it for us here on a Morning Scone. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.